MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by Expect Less, Pay with Your Life.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Why are you here then? Where are we? Where are we, man? Who is he? And why does he think you have a different name? Alex, this is Ed. Ed, this is my brother Alex. All right, we both woke up in here too, okay? All right, we don't know what's going on or why we're here. We don't know.
Actually, I think I might know.
What?
Blue, and welcome back everyone to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. Now guys, we are doing something new on the show today. Today's movie is kind of like Tim McGraw's sex life because it's faith-based. Matthew Ellsworth, the guy sitting to the left of me, your right, said, "Hey guys, I was searching on..."
Line.
Specific site?
Because
Because I am curious how you stumbled upon this.
Oh.
Matthew was
How do you find things?
Matthew was online somewhere and he said, "Hey guys, guess what? I just heard about the Christian saw. And I'm not talking about the thing they used to construct the nativity for last year's play. It is 2015's The Reconciler, starring none other than, and this was not intentional, the god, the legend, Rowdy Piper, who is our lead. Starring, he's in there. Who is
scenes.
The lead in our beautiful, beloved They Live.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Here he is a
Newspaper director. You watched this movie, right?
You work here, remember that?
Again, this was pitched as the Christian Saw.
By who?
By you. And I actually, before we get into the breakdown, I want to pester my brother about how he came across this specifically, because...
I already told you.
No. How did you find it?
I don't know, man. You're just digging through the trash and you happen to find things. How do you find things online?
But you stumbled upon it, you were searching for it, people were talking about it?
Yeah, I was searching to see if they had made a Christian version of Saw.
Don't you ever?
What?
All right. So it's just a random stumble.
Yeah, I mean, you just doom scrolling for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You're bound to find a lot of things.
It's like I found the cartoon about Titanic.
That was the same way, just completely random?
Yeah.
Better stop it if you're breathing. Fists here this time for reason, cause instead of being a hero, you know, you might become a zero. It's no confusion, no illusion. Out on the sea, so amusing. A special trip, so we let's get started. Hardy, party, party, hardy.
Okay. Well...
This is how you choose to live your life?
And that's how you like to live your life, is it?
Matthew, you are going to break down what is the plot of The Reconciler. What is it? The
Reconciler.
Reconciler? Because a little info right off the bat of the type of movie we're dealing with. The title never came up.
Reconciler, I think, is in the...
I'm pretty sure it's Reconciler.
Is copyright. Yeah, it never... The
title never comes up.
Never appears.
We get credits, traditional credits of everything else.
But not
the title, and it doesn't pop up at the bottom, or at the end, rather.
But they do say The Reconciler in the film.
Who are you talking about?
They call him the Reconciler.
And then their LLC or whatever comes up, and it says Reconciler TM, and I am praying that that is also on the actual registration, because that would be hilarious.
Oh, please.
Guys, the movie's out. I hope there's no flaws. How could there be when we're working under Reconciler LLC? So, Matthew...
At least we just misspell it. Oh.
Please tell our audience about the Reconciler. Which I was, one way or another, was fascinated by this existing. We'll get into it.
The Reconciler is about...
Hour and a half.
Twins who... Well, first of all, one guy wakes up in an abandoned warehouse storage facility, and he's with some big-headed dude named Ed, and they're both like, "Oh my God, how did we get here? Why are we here? Did you do this to me? I need my cane to get up." And then they find a key in his pocket, and he finds his twin brother's been locked inside of a trunk, and the dude says, hey, I bet this is one of those reconciler cases. And they're like, what? What's a reconciler? And he's like, well, he tells them that there's this guy who takes people who are having disputes in their life with estranged friends or family, and he locks them into a room together to solve their differences.
And Ed bills himself as a reporter.
I'm a reporter.
Oh.
Yes, that's why he knows so much.
Yes.
I gave the reconciler his name.
So then we also meet Lindsay, who's a newspaper reporter.
Yo, you are a superhero.
Who?
You are a superhero. If someone said, I'm
I
going to
just
blow...
I just made that name up. I don't know.
Okay.
She looks like a Lindsay.
But still, you would remember. It's weird.
You remember things.
Not often.
So she's doing an article for like a magazine called About Face, and she looks like she's writing a stereotypical people column about weddings, and Roddy Piper is like, hey, I want you to do a story because God built my fence, and I need to pay him back by you finding out why Earth is gray.
Something like that.
And she's like, okay, I'll do it.
Hey, Monday, on my desk, I want it.
All right.
And she goes to talk to a priest, and the priest is like, something about God. And if you go to more people,
You know, priests
if you go,
always say things about
I
God.
suppose you want to hear something about God.
Father Kudos, would you say the benediction?
Well, I suppose you want something about God.
And he's like, yeah, if you go to more priests, they're going to tell you the same thing about God. So why don't you find some idiots off the street? And she's like, all right, fine. So he gives them a list of really gross people. And she finds a little girl who died and went to heaven. And God told her that she needs to come back to tell the reporter.
What?
Jesus told me you were coming. And he loves you very much. And he wants you back.
Oh yeah, how does all this tie into the other
Heaven
shit?
exists.
Uh-huh.
And she goes to find that
Remember the Reconciler 2.
that old about how she donated $35 million to cure Christianity. And then it turns out that she's actually the mom of the Twink and Bear couple who get chained together in the forest.
JR and Jeff.
Yes. I'm not sure why that matters, but she's apparently part of their family who were also reconciler cases.
And you forgot the two cops who didn't talk because she was jealous that he got the promotion.
Yeah, so she was going to move to another department, another state. So they settled their differences and got free of the reconciler's trap.
All right.
Oh my gosh, did you hear that? You know what that sounded like.
Let's get out of here.
And I guess there were two other cases we see that the cops trying to figure out. And for some reason he's like, oh, we got a report of missing twins. It's probably the reconciler. They're having problems before they went missing. I'm like, what?
Well, I can't please my wife in bed. Must be the reconciler again, damn it.
Damn you, reconciler.
So eventually,
I don't know what you want me to say, honey. It's not me.
The twins start to reconcile the differences about how they believe in how their faith is faith.
They both have faith, but they were, let's say, exercising it in different ways.
Yeah.
And they both thought that the other one was wrong.
Yeah.
What?
So they finally come to an agreement that they can both have Jesus in their own way, and they hug, and then Fathead Ed turns out to be an
reporter,
angel.
because he has to report
to God?
Yes.
Okay.
I was assigned to this like a reporter is assigned to a story. I'm a messenger, I'm a guardian, and other things as well.
You're
The Cane's a ripoff of Miracle on 34th Street.
And the thing is that
Willy Wonka.
Actually, it threw me off because usually the devil is crippled. And
But he wasn't crippled. He was just
no,
pretending
but
to
it's weird that he's playing crippled.
Maybe it symbolizes the son of Adam and Eve.
They would never. The
Yes,
point is,
clearly.
they would never believe a cripple was an angel.
He had a cane, but he was actually able-bodied. See?
Flawless.
That's why.
Not even saying that sarcastically. It's flawless.
So he says, "Hey, I'm not the reconciler, but
I work for him."
yeah,
Sort
I'm
of.
not Santa Claus, but I work for him."
And you have talked about the Reconciler all this time because the Reconciler is God.
Yeah. So God put him on a mission to do this.
To help these people.
What if they don't reconcile? Does he actually starve them to death?
I don't know. It only mentioned at a certain point that
We look into the Reconciler, a kidnapper who leaves messages for his victims, promising to let them go if they resolve their differences or perish if they don't. Is this a sick, twisted individual or a relationship vigilante? Despite any rumors, police still have no leads. Could it be just a matter of time until the next victim is found, alive or dead?
Wait a minute, at the end we find out it was all God. This is like the end of ICP's The Wraith album. Flawless reference, Mateo. I don't know if you knew this, but...
No.
But just as an interesting factoid, on the 6th ICP album, at the end of it, they had a big surprise, and that their message was, and I say this as a joking reference also seriously, the end of the 6th ICP album is, our message was always God. This was all about God. No joke.
That's disappointing. So, the
two twins are reconciled,
Reconciled.
and they get freed, and they meet.
They don't make out. They don't make out.
They get freed by the
Sexually?
love child of
Yeah.
Ed from The Naked Gun and John Quiones. That's a flawless,
It's pretty good.
Yes.
flawless breakdown.
And
that's the end.
yeah, because we get then the Corinthians
Okay.
quote, and that's it.
There's a lot to
Is
unpack
Corinthia
here.
a country?
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Wait, if this is what you say it is, then the Reconciler getting me and Alex together I can understand. But why are you here? Yeah, what do you have to do with us?
Nothing. I'm here for a different reason. The Reconciler's killing two birds with one stone.
What?
There's a lot to unpack here, but I have a question which I've been thinking about even before we put this on, when I knew we were going to do this
Maybe you
today.
could not ask it.
Because
You're not obligated to
I don't
ask.
think anyone expected this
actually
was
illegal
going to
if
be
you
a good
do.
movie. So my question
Whoa,
is,
whoa, man.
Mateo,
Yes, that would be me.
in all honesty, it's easy to look at these low-budget faith movies as a joke, but do you think that anyone ever watches this and the intent does translate to where they're like,
Yes.
yes? Like someone will actually take away something meaningful from this and be like, this was
Yeah.
Come on, talk to me. What's going on?
This is a movie that, first of all, granted, the three of us are cynical, and so we watch it with a different light. But people who are extremely devout, people who are extremely religious, they want to see a sort of a drama that they know that it will end well.
To see God taken out of the public discourse does not bother me. It emboldens me to share his love and mercy all the more, to help reconcile others to him.
a Hallmark movie, if you will.
Yes.
Mom wanting the
but-
comfort of the paint by numbers.
Yes.
A Full House episode.
A Full House episode, exactly.
And you think it also, like, it comes away as like my faith is renewed. I took something from it. This was a mess.
Yeah,
'Cause
or
it also seems weird that, like, okay, granted, this one is interesting because it is an odd Saw-esque choice, but it just seems like, wouldn't you? I have to imagine if someone believed, you wouldn't necessarily go to the Reconciler
need my
to
faith renewed constantly.
I think that this one is, and once again, there is nothing wrong. There is a slew of Christian faith-based movies. Some of them are bigger in terms of they have more production values and everything. Like, for instance, recently there was Father Stew with Mark Wahlberg.
You love me, but you don't want me. Testing me. You want to test me, see how serious I am? Why? Why?
He's a priest, which is in crisis because he could have avoided September 11, or something like that. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
But that's an actual movie. Well,
but so is this one.
What?
The thing is that this one is the faith-based equivalent of Message in a Cell Phone for the family thriller, if you will.
What's the matter, Chase?
You killed that Felix guy. My dad's in prison because of you!
What? Chase! Chase! Chase!
It's a movie that you basically know what you're gonna get. This one has the attempt of doing a little more modern twist with the Saw and stuff, so probably is slightly geared more towards a younger audience, and is not, at least it didn't seem to, because I've seen faith-based movies that are incredibly preachy and incredibly on the nose. This one at least tries to be a little less...
it's obviously throughout, but it's not never down your throat.
Yeah, exactly. And so...
But it gets everywhere
That's how the
else.
priest got me in the background.
I don't think that if you show it to people who have this kind of problems, this will help them solve their problems in real life. But it's one of those movies that it doesn't offend you. It makes you feel, to a degree, good.
Well,
what were you saying?
Well, I guess that was my question in general, is that it seems like not even the faith aspect, but the faith-based movies seems like it carries a certain stigma.
Faith-based?
Faith-based? Is it about faith-based movies?
Are you still best at the
Does anyone want to see a faith-based movie?
Figaro! 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 Figaro?
That'll fix that quasi cat.
So I guess my question was more so, I guess it's two-part, is if you had ever found, not a movie like, I don't know, Father Stu, and this maybe come back to a asylum type question where I'm almost like, okay, who, more the low budget, who, like, obviously people like Godzilla, does anyone like Ape versus Lizard?
God.
Jesus.
Jesus?
Yes.
No. So I feel like Father Stu is, you could go, there's a well-produced movie, we have one of America's most known actors, and I could see someone going there and being like, oh, I'm a Christian and I enjoyed that. So I guess maybe it wasn't necessarily the faith question, but more of these, for instance, let's umbrella it with the Kirk Cameron genre. I guess my question was, if you think people are watching these things, not even so much again as a faith movie, but as like I ask how people watch asylum movies. Do you think anyone watches the cornball, low budget, preach them over the head movies and actually gets something from it? You think there are people that like?
Yeah. It's usually how it works.
Like you said, it's just a hallmark. They just
this
want
is
to be
probably picked up by a bunch of different Christian channels. They play on.
Yes, and also if you think about it, long ago when there were bookstores, if you go to a bookstore and you look at the Christian section of novels, it's incredible. It's like all the, I don't want to make a comparison in content, it's just like the the volume of books, Star Trek inspired or Star Wars inspired. There is a bajillion of those books that most of them have nothing to do with Star Trek. They just use the names of the characters and they just go there. Once in a while there is one that is actually pretty good. And these movies are the same. They're pretty cheap to produce because, well, there were probably not even 10 sets in terms of locations.
The door was tin foil.
The door was tin foil. The forest or whatever it was, the park was a park.
Free.
I think we're in some kind of state park or something.
And they churned them fairly quickly. The director, I noticed he did a few other movies. I don't know if they're more religious or still on this kind of like surface. And then, because if you want to give the audience, for instance, and I know this is controversial, but to me, one of the most powerful movies, a movie about faith, is The Exorcist.
defender of the human race. Oh, look down in pity.
You killed your
on this
mother.
your servant.
You left her alone to
ready
die.
raise
Shut
the-
up! I'll never forgive you.
Repent, O Lord.
Shut up!
Devil's-
Bastard! Oh!
I've always considered it a dramatic movie with horror tones, but at the core is this young priest who is doubting his faith. And there is the older priest who is incredible, and there is the devil who makes him question even more his faith. But at the core is the duality of, okay, do I believe or not?
The power of Christ compels you.
Yet is folded into a story that makes you kind of like, it almost goes incognito, the message of that, but that's it.
Well, I guess my next question, which is, that would be an answer, but again, I was going to compartmentalize, is that...
Your next question is an answer?
If you had ever gotten something from a faith-based movie, but, God, I can't, faith-based, but have you ever with these faith-based movies?
What should I call your wife?
About Ethel. That's her name. Ethel Thayer. Sounds like I'm lisping, doesn't it? Ethel Thayer.
Is your space-based faith-based?
And I guess again, I wanted to...
Maybe you could just stop asking questions and we wouldn't have to do this.
Put an asterisk on, because obviously The Exorcist obviously holds up as a stellar... I guess my question was, and maybe I should...
flip that asterisk.
Maybe I shouldn't say people, because Hallmark movies, which are much maligned, have a massive audience to make 42 every Christmas. I guess my question was, would you ever see yourself getting something not from... Because like The Exorcist, I could see that, or maybe like a Father Stew, if it's more of a movie... Do you think you could ever find one of these like low-budget spoon-feed-em Hallmark-esque faith-based? I can't do it.
Farewell to thee, farewell to thee. The wind will carry back our sad refrain. One last embrace before we say, And
actually have it resonate in some way. I guess is my question. Because people do, but I guess it's just it seems so easy to make fun of something like
that. Are you talking about the low-budget genre in general?
I guess it's a little difficult to articulate, but like I said, I knew we were going to watch this.
Well, please keep trying.
We have time.
Not exactly.
I just wonder if, what I'm trying to say? Like, do you think you could ever watch this without a cynicism and be like, no, I believe, and so
people are seeking this type of content. People are trying to find a faith-based alternative to, hey, I don't want to see...
Godless Hollywood?
Yeah, I don't want to see the newest movies out, but I would let them see... something that actually has a nice message that I can show my kids. We can watch as a family, but it has maybe something similar to what my kids want to see Saw, but I'm not going to let them see Saw.
Guess what, kids? We have Saw at home. I got the Reconciler.
It could be an alternative for a God-fearing Christian family.
Why does it always have to come back to God?
We now return to
MaJaMa.
What are you doing?
Trying to get out of here?
Stace.
Oh my gosh. What is going on?
I don't know.
That's it. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, how are you gonna do that? No, don't!
My gun's empty.
I'll say this one last time and then I'll shut up about it. My point, to make my point more succinct, and usually an impossible task, I know, I can see people getting...
Your point has been stretched from the beginning of the show until now.
I can see people getting something from faith in general. I get that. I guess my question was, are people out there actually being like, wow, I genuinely got something from what I will call the Kirk Cameron genre? Because it seems to me...
Of course.
Perhaps it's a stupid... Maybe the question is more aimed at Mateo, because I feel like
if
we're a little...
people can find something in our stupid little shark movie, of course they can find something in this or any other thing in the same genre.
If you are inclined to listen to hip-hop music, for instance.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus.
You listen to hip-hop music. If you like religious or faith-based movies, you watch religion or faith-based movies. You get something for... I don't see myself ever watch a movie like this on my own for my enjoyment. I guess...
You know that, my brother.
Right.
Amen. We all agree. Praise him. Well, I think that was what I was getting at. Maybe it was more asking my friend. Like obviously, yes, there's people that can get something, even though I find it weird that someone could watch this and be like, yeah, God. I guess my question was more, would you ever find yourself like in the Kirk Cameron genre being like, well, you know, I do believe, so I can pick X, Y, and Z. I guess that was the question. Maybe the question was supposed to be aimed at a more cynical, like he said, person, as opposed to like, well, golly gee, I'm Ned Flanders and I enjoy The Reconciler.
Granted, I mean, not this specific movie, for instance, but if I get to a point, and probably we have to make a brief parenthesis, believer, non-believer, Christian, atheist.
Douchebag.
We were raised Catholic, if that counts for anything.
We really were. Full on. Confirmed?
So have I, and I continued. So if I find myself at a certain point in my life down and down, I'm losing faith in whatever surrounds me, maybe a movie like this, not specifically this, but one of them
might knock something loose.
It may give me a little more comfort in itself, is without having to go to a priest or listening to a preacher.
Anything but that, yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Even a movie like Oh God, which was extremely clever because it says there is God. It never specifies what religion he is from.
Is Jesus Christ the Son of God? Jesus was my son. Buddha was my son. Muhammad, Moses, you, the man who said there was no room in the inn was my son. And so is the one who charges $11 for steak in this one.
Doesn't even specify if he's a man or a woman. It just says George Burns, and he says...
Not what you expected, huh? I picked a look you could understand. For someone else, I would look different. I could do any face, voice, whatever. I could even be a woman.
If I were to show myself in my true form, you probably wouldn't have any idea what I am. So,
look at me like this adorable elderly monkey.
And at least that movie gives you the hope and say, okay, there is God. Dogma, as much maligned as it's been through the years, is a movie that has an incredibly optimistic message that there is God.
Was Wisconsin really that bad?
Bow down, stupid!
And he has a sense of humor.
I thought that was a great point from Matteo. He said that a while back because it seems like the beauty of actually using your brain, because there was such fervor around Dogma. And Matteo was like, did anyone stop to realize that Kevin's point was that, in this movie at least, I don't know Kevin's person, I know he seems like a Jersey Wraith Catholic boy like us.
Yes, I believe in God. Why? Because I have a career.
But in this movie at least, is that there is a God, definitively at the end. And, you know, like, did everyone miss that was the end point? They just want, I suppose, too many people just don't want you to poke the subject in general, but I thought that was always a very interesting point because there was such a fervor over Dogma. It's like, did you miss the point that Kevin was saying God is real? Did you miss?
Was Alanis Morissette still popular then?
Is that a joke question?
Of course.
That was 2000.
1999, I think.
Then yes, 1998, I think, was You Ought to Know. This contact.
Oh, for
my
real?
God, it's driving me crazy. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
It's borderline an urban legend.
All right. Well, I didn't mean to segue us because I do want to break down this weird ass movie, but I was intrigued by that just because it was on my mind. But I guess, like you said, if the reason that Hallmark movies make 40 a year is because people can be like, they got back together and they kissed and humanity's okay and this warm, cozy Christmas fire.
And
let's get into the specifics because I do find this is a good one to break down because it's a little weird. And my first point is that I would love to know. Again, this is.
You guys look like there's a mirror in between you.
Ha! I would love to know if the writer was trying to do a Christian Saw for this purpose. I said at the end. No. Well, let me get to my point. At the end, when we're having the reveal of Big Head Ed, The music, correct me if I'm wrong.
He needs to trim his neck hair.
The music
Yes.
is Saw-esque, as if this is the scene where
Well-
you realize, buh, 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 and that Jigsaw is there. Buh, 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 buh. What the music is not indicative of is a wonderful revelation of that he is an angel, God is real, and you guys have been brought together. And also, why would...
Yes, it's still ominous.
You're,
Who are you? I'm Alex. He's James. Twins? Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else here with you?
No. They disappeared.
Why would an angel sent down to do this work put a human in a body bag inside of a trunk as part of the plan? So my question
He said he was
is
biting
about
him
the
or
question
something.
about the Christian Saw, is that it almost seems like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Like, okay, it's a cute little reveal, like the Reconciler is God, I was an angel all along. But it's like, why are you locking people in a box and kidnapping them? It kind of seems like you did want to do the
Well-
Christian Saw, and then...
You read any story in the Bible, God's not necessarily always nice.
Actually, I guess, Matthew, that's a flawless point that Conrad would applaud, and I guess it's such a great argument, I have nothing else to say.
The 10th plague of Egypt were a little rough.
They all
on
kind of
the
sucked.
edge. Yeah, you know.
All 10 of them.
Well,
Yes.
you also...
Well, the Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Yeah.
The other good question is, if they don't reconcile,
first good
like
question?
you said, do people
the
die?
only good question.
Do people die?
Well, we got to find out about the other two cases
That's implied.
in the next spin-off series.
And what
Yes.
does the reporter's quest of the graying have to do with the cases?
I think that I believe is a since it says black and white. The graying is the area where you wind up.
The twins look kind of Asian, though.
Yes.
Everything is so black and white with him.
If you turn your back to God, you just like you wind in.
You don't want to do that. You don't even know what he's doing back there.
I think that is the thing because
Yeah.
because the black or white it's mentioned a couple of times in the movie.
I think I would have taken her character with the old detective who saves the twins at the end, or who finds them, which
Yeah.
I don't know if that was even necessary because they kind of get out on their own.
Yes.
You probably should have merged those two characters. So she's investigating the story of the Reconciler.
Critin?
She's the
What's
one.
this guy's name? The Critin? It's the
Critters?
Reconciler.
She's the one who's following the story, so she kind of is eventually led to find them. So you can have her doing investigations, questioning people
Yes.
who have survived this trap, or survived, and then they give her kind of clues of how they view faith, how they view God now, and kind of they can get their same point across, but you don't have to do it in such a weird sense that doesn't necessarily match up to your other plot line.
Yes.
Because it kind of seemed two different paths you were
The
walking.
thing that I find more, questionable, relatively speaking, of course, is God, so anything can happen. But she is a journalist, and she doesn't realize that her husband and son have vanished, and they are in a park somewhere.
No, but that was a flashback.
Oh yeah, it was a flashback.
I
yeah.
assume.
Wait, what?
Because they're telling the story of.
Yes, you're
father
right.
and
You're
son.
right. It
So
was a
what does
flashback,
the
okay,
reporter's
yes.
thing have to
Yes,
do with the rest of the
silly me.
story?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
It's about. They're both about God.
You have no idea how blown my mind was. I mean, I guess revealing that it's God kind of smoothes this over. But when I was watching this and I realized that the plot was literally someone puts people in a room and says, "I'm not letting you out until you kiss and make up," I was cackling to myself because I'm like, that's like Saw with Danny Tanner as Jigsaw when he's like,
I mean,
DJ
when
and
you
Michelle,
hear-
you girls are going to sit in here and not come out till you hug.
When you hear the Christian version of Saw, what would you think? It's not the horror version of a demented.
This will just be ammo for people to laugh at me. But when you pitched me this, I pictured literally Saw as it is with a Christian message.
But for Christians?
I know you probably like, that's ridiculous, they would never do that, but I was kind of excited because I was like, wow, it's going to be like a blood fest with arms coming off, but it's going to be like, you have to do this because you turned away from God.
But that would be more like but you understood this was going to be like a, what did you understand?
You said, I mean, the Christian Saw is a hell of a pitch one way or the other. It's not exact.
I like to pray again.
I just...
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Play it? I don't know.
Hello, detectives. I'm sure by now you're wondering how you got here and what's happening. In police work, you need to depend upon your partner. The two of you haven't been acting like partners for a long time, and it's been getting worse.
I mean, because you can do that. That would be like straight up horror. I keep thinking of Carrie's mom and Carrie.
And first sin was intercourse. First sin was intercourse.
I didn't sin, Mama. No,
say it.
I didn't sin, Mama.
First sin was intercourse. First sin was intercourse. First sin was intercourse.
And the first sin was intercourse, Mama. I was so scared. I thought I was dying. And the girls, they all laughed at me and threw things at me,
And
Mama.
he was weak. Say it.
No, Mama.
He was weak.
Some kind of demented version of...
Yes.
Or even the more demented version of Christianity.
Or the woman in The Mist.
Don't you know the truth? We are being punished. For what? For going against the will of God. For going against his forbidden rules of old. Walking on the moon. Yes. Yes. Or splitting his atoms.
Yeah.
Another Stephen King.
Yeah.
He has a thing about the extreme...
Is he religious?
I'm not sure. But I know he knows a lot about religions.
Is he human?
That I don't know.
Mainlining lines of coke while he's hunched over a typewriter writing child orgies. And then they all went into her. Yes, yes. Oh, send it out to the friggin' publisher. Tabitha, get in here. The fingers are cooking, baby. Steven, there's no typewriter there. You're just smashing a desk with your hands. The cocaine! All right, so let's zero in on our actual scenes. To me, the funniest one was the dad and son chained in the woods because, again, like you said, you don't have to reconcile. It just gets a message that says walk to the key. He could have easily been like, all right, we're going to walk to this friggin' key and I'm not going to...
You have guardrails and handrails.
Yes.
Almost your entire hike through the
forest. And no stuntman.
Yes.
So you have to do
scenes
a bit like that.
The whole scenario just seems like a setup for a gay porn.
Yes.
It's just a classic start.
All of the scenes almost. Because even the two twins...
Welcome to everyone's favorite game show. Is this the start of a Christian faith-based movie or a gay porn? I cannot say faith-based.
Faith-based.
Try it. Legitimately try it.
Faith-based.
Damn it.
Faith-based?
Is it that childish?
Okay, Matthew said a comment, which we always make these dumb comments to each other watching the movies, but I think this is the time I've laughed one of the hardest, because the reason is because I felt like, depending on what he was doing when he was kidnapped for this, I guess you could say he was. I was going to say, that's what it was, is that it looked like a $5 movie choice of he's a soldier, so put him in camel pants. So when...
The letter says you're a soldier.
He says something like...
dog tags.
He says something like, son, I'm a member of the United States military. Why do you think I'm wearing these pants?
I'm a soldier in the United States Army.
And like, I died laughing at that so much just because it seemed like such a, well, how are they going to know he's a soldier? Put him in some camel pants.
Yes.
But like, where did they kidnap him from before he came here that he would, like, maybe he's just always got those on?
I mean, he's dedicated. He's only cares about that versus his own family. So he's always training. He's always thinking about the military.
And then they have to go up. There is he has a letter in his pocket that says you have to go on top of the hill, which is a place that the kid says.
I think I know where we are.
You do?
Yeah. Look. Mom always wanted you to bring me here for like a father-son hike.
And so they go, and then he slips and is about to fall, but the dad saves him, and then
That
he...
cheap ass chain is not gonna hold that kid.
No. And then he...
Oh, so yeah, invest in it looks like a pet leash.
It's like a Halloween prop.
And then he carries him because he saves him, and then the son faints. So he carries up.
All this. That would just be another scene in the gay porn. Oh, the kid faints. I gotta carry him to the mountain.
Well, as long as he's unconscious.
And he's late, so God is asleep. Like,
he ain't gonna see what's about to happen on this mountain.
Yeah, but why does he faint? And then...
So he carries him for the last 500 feet because
Yeah.
he says that there is that length.
It's late. We don't have far to go. Maybe 600 feet, JR. JR? JR? Wake up, buddy. Wake up.
Meanwhile, this whole time his nips are just ripping through his shirt.
It's true.
Yes.
They're very visible.
Yes. And then the next time we see them, they're all happy and
Wrestling, once
playing
again.
wrestling, yes. And
God,
going
once
to-
again, another opening scene to a gay porn. The mom comes home. What are you
Also,
two up to?
The way, speaking of porn, the way their
Yes,
locations
yes.
are like when you watch a porn, it's like someone just rented a blank beige room. Everything is blue, beige, friggin' brown
It's just
walls.
plain walls and plain sets and plain
And
houses.
it's just like no invention in the cinematography. The only thing that I noticed that they made a little bit of an effort when the two twins and Ed are in the whatever basement or wherever they are. There is a sound of silence. There is rumbling sound of nothingness. And when they are in the forest, there is always some sound. So
Oh my God, man.
you have to pay attention to it's virtually like Inception, that kind of cinematography tells you if you're in the dream in reality or in the dream in the dream within the dream. So here they did the same thing but with sound.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why did the cops get a recorded message and everyone else got a letter? I know Ed explains like, hey...
Most Reconciler victims, when they came to, said they found a note or a digital recorder telling them why they were there. I don't see anything like that here. Do you guys?
But why was everyone had a note except for the two cops?
We don't know what happened to the other three.
Two or
pair,
three, yeah.
Because the in the intricate reticulate on the wall.
I think he stuck it to the window of a door.
Yes,
What?
on the elevator it goes up.
What? It was. We have to come back down and check it out.
Why did he put his brother in the trunk?
He said he was biting him.
No, like it's just trying to force a Saw aspect. Like you're not even committing. You're just like, oh, there has to be something horrific. So he put him in a. Like, what purpose does it serve? Okay, let's even take it in the terms of the movie. Let's talk about that.
Possibly suffocated.
What purpose does it serve that his brother is in a body bag in the terms of the movie? Take it on its own
I
terms.
think it's a nudge towards Saw.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like, not that that's the one problem, but it's like can you at least, it's like, you had to do that to give a little bit of a horror element. Otherwise, it's just a straight,
Yes.
like, lock them in the room till they start kissing.
And it would be, if the two twins were to wake up side by side, you didn't have the spiel of who is he, who...
Oh,
why are
screenwriter's
you-
convenience.
Yes.
They didn't give us a choice.
And then, yes, it's just like to give a twist a little bit. But what if he hasn't checked his pockets?
Yeah.
We didn't find that.
Well, also now I'm really fascinated that, I mean, okay. In fairness, the door's unlocked because of God. Matt.
Sorry?
Chick, what are you pointing at?
I'm not pointing at anything. I'm scratching my beard.
Oh.
My finger happens to be extended.
The door's unlocked because of God magic, so I guess the answer is you can always pull the escape switch, if you will. But I was also genuinely curious of, like, what if they don't reconcile?
Escape
They just
switch.
let them starve?
And they're gonna eat Ed.
Well, they at least have...
Disgusting canned food.
Yeah, canned corn in the
Yes.
bathroom and plenty of toilet paper.
The three of you have enough food and supplies to last you for a week. After that, it's up to Alex and James.
Thanks, God!
Imagine eating cold canned corn.
Hey, you remember the woman eating the...
Oh, the green beans.
The green beans.
Oh.
Just spread eagle. It's like it all laughed out. Hey, and that was called the Mutilator. They both had the something in the title.
No, that's not the Mutilator.
God damn it.
That's the other one. It's still God.
Thanks, Skip.
Chili Willy's
blood.
That's not cranberry sauce.
Blood something.
Blood Rage.
Blood Rage.
Blood Rage?
Blood Rage.
Is destroying me.
You have glasses?
I don't.
What an idiot. Oh, sorry. I'll cut this.
Wait, what was the deal with the speaker, too?
This is bogus! To keep us emotionally imbalanced like this? How is this even possible?
There was a speaker that started going
Oh,
off.
yeah, with there was no plug
and
or something?
The cord was cut.
There is never... And then the screeching sound that it cuts to black.
Yeah.
There is no... And also one of the things that I find out weird as a choice, that they say, even if in that situation, they say, this reconciler, he is doing this, and the brother correct him.
Didn't you call him like a sadistic kidnapper too? Them. Hey, we don't know if it's a he or a she. What were you saying?
Really? That would be the thing that comes to your mind when you're kidnapped in a basement?
Hey, we don't know who's torturing us. It could be a woman.
To whom am I referring here?
We can't forget about our montage.
Oh, the song.
And it's not even like you do a montage of like you see people talking and discussing their problems.
No.
It's just like you do a montage of them just sitting there.
Yes.
Staring at each other.
They're all brewing.
Yeah.
It's before they, yes.
Well, maybe the montage help encourage them to talk to each other.
But you're stronger, stronger than you know. And don't you give up now.
We now return to
MaJaMa. I'm not understanding what's going on here now. You know, like, it sounds like a different angle, okay? If I were you, I'd stay with it.
But.
No buts. Go get it done. Get your job done. Get this job done, I'll get you another one.
Okay.
So, listen, Roddy, I don't think it's a paycheck. Obviously, there wasn't much. Roddy has to be a Christian to be in this, right? Has to be.
Or a friend of the director.
Something like that. It's not like this is a paycheck that man needs to...
Or he thought that was his real job and he was just going to work for a day.
Why are you filming this?
I'm sure that they got him for a day.
I can't find a single issue of About Face. Shouldn't we have one in this company if this real? This magazine, it does exist, right?
Knock him over the head.
Because they had the 2 scenes with him in the same place.
Yeah.
2 different shirts, that's it.
But there were different chairs.
They're different chairs. They have range.
Plus his office is just another cubicle.
I still don't get
yes.
I still don't get the bleeding together of the woman's assignment with the rest of our scenes.
It's just faith.
It's just like trying to is the Danny Glover character in Saw.
But at least he's looking for them.
Yeah, he's looking for them, and here they made just like something similar but not. And
that's why it would have made sense, or not sense. It would have
that she would have been,
or Roddy would have been, and put her on this path.
Yes.
Or he had her investigate these reconcilings, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it just seems such a just.
It would have been interesting if when she meets the little girl, rather than telling her.
Jesus told me you were coming, and he loves you very much, and he wants you back.
Oh yeah, why was that in there?
That she would have taken that almost as a challenge, rather than being discouraged and say, "Oh, I don't want to do this story anymore because I'm freaking out." Instead, no, say, "No, I wanted to find," and so then eventually meet the 2 brothers.
Yeah, or the girl knows about the 2 brothers or something.
Yeah.
Plus, she doesn't even say anything like, so, like, I know who you are, I know your name, I know you're having trouble with your mother right now, she's very sick. She just says it kind of blankly, so it's not even like, oh, he told you to come back for me?
Yeah, it's a little clunkier than the usual.
Are you done?
I mean, Mateo, what are some examples? We listed 2, and I, of course, jumped
Don't give him a single one.
Of course, I jumped to one of the top highest R-rated gross movie of all time, still The Passion? R-rated?
I think so, yes.
So I jumped to those, but I also think it's an interesting discussion of, you know, the godless Hollywood cliche and Christians being like, you know, it must be true because it's always something like this as opposed to like there's a big budget, slick, mainstream movie with a vision behind it.
Family camp.
That we could...
Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur? Is...
or the greatest story ever told.
Because it feels like, other than some notables, that it's always this.
Oh, and Xanadu.
Okay, fun little fact. We've a couple times, and one was just recently, which is why it's on my mind. Bad CGI Sharks has been compared to Xanadu a handful of times.
The hell is Xanadu?
Xanadu is the gods they're sending the muse on Earth to inspire people, and they inspire Michael Beck, I think, the guy from Warriors, to open a disco on rollerblades, and Gene Kelly arrives and dances, and you see
He must be old as hell.
Yes, and he was still alive though, and
I mean, he's gonna be a roller skate. No one's gonna know. Just put his corpse out there. Put a broom in his pants, keep him straight up.
Like the Muppets. You can see the camera during a dance number.
Where's the camera?
There is
grab me, go up the stage!
There's a camera reflected in a mirror during the dance that he does with Olivia Newton-John.
Olivia Newton-John? She must be old as hell.
She was alive too.
Are you done?
Yeah, she
Where
did
are we?
Xanadu. And she did also Two of a Kind with John Travolta again.
And Olsen twins.
And where also this is somebody sent on Earth by God or something. Yeah, somebody is walking up. Yeah, probably. No, but there are a lot of movies that go into religion and stuff, and some of them are just like vaguely brushing it. Some of them are a little more heavy.
It's only a theory.
And to a degree, you know, if you think about, there's Jesus Christ Superstar, which is the story of Jesus. There's Gospel, which is...
And these were all mainstream release, like any other movie. It was not like a targeted release. Which I guess, for that matter, it's interesting that Passion still holds the title for the high. Also, it's funny that it's an R-rated movie. I get it's because of the violence, but it's kind of a funny. Like, what's the highest R-rated movie? Is it like a John Woo shoot 'em up? It's like, no, it's Passion. But I don't know. It just seems interesting that people crave this alternative entertainment. And again, we brought up these examples, but it seems interesting that like it is usually like they're like, well, I don't want that Hollywood garbage. Those people are godless, so I'll make this. And it's like, can't we get, you know what I'm trying to say? But I guess the grosses of Passion would speak to how many people do want that type of content and will come out for it. Or, for example, actually, forget Passion. There's a more modern example, which I thought was interesting, even just objectively studying box office. The 10th highest grossing movie of last year, if I'm correct. You know what it was?
Super Mario Brothers.
No, that was actually the first.
Oh.
Good try.
Or up there.
I thought it was based on Jesus too.
The 10th highest grossing movie, correct me if I'm wrong, was Sound of Freedom.
Oh, yes.
Which beat Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Well.
And I thought it was kind of interesting.
Because Indiana Jones already knelt before God 2 movies before.
Yeah.
Penitent man is humble, kneels before God. Kneel!
Right. In Last
That's a
Crusade.
good one.
That's a good one.
But it was interesting because
plenty of faith and belief.
And the Ark of the Covenant in the first one. And
Because Sound of Freedom immediately has a stigma, and granted, that's a whole other thing to unpack. That's an episode unto itself. But I just thought it was interesting that like it comes pre-packaged with a stigma, but then look what happens. It friggin' beats Indy and ends up the 10th highest ever. So again,
does it come with a stigma or with a stigmata?
So again, I find it interesting that
they're on fire.
There is I feel like there's a trope that someone like a trope that someone like me would ordinarily roll their eyes at, and in fact, many people did roll their eyes at Sound of Freedom. And again, there's other things behind the scenes about is this story true or who blah blah blah, a million things. I'm not trying to get into that so much as the fact that it's faith-based. But again, 10th highest grossing of the year, and I also think a 15 million budget and 170 or 200 something was mega successful. So I'm kind of fascinated.
But I think it had a strong enough message to bring people in for other reasons.
Do you understand
I think
kind of
this
the
whole
point?
thing just comes down to a lot of people believe in God, whether or not
Yes.
they're overly religious. Most people believe that there's something else that exists, some sort of deity that lends itself to wanting to see a movie, even if it is more Christian-based. Well, then again, there's a shit ton of Christians who want to see movies like
So
this.
there is, but my thing is there is validity to this godless Hollywood, and I'm saying that in a kind of a funny, but you know what I'm saying? That it's usually an eye-rolling thing, but then Sound of Freedom comes out and it's actually making bank, and it's like, you guys can say whatever you want, but you're neglecting a portion of the audience.
It depends on how, if it comes out as a cynical operation or not.
What is the elephant in the room?
If you're watching a movie like The Apple, which eventually we will, even if it's a musical.
That boy will kill himself.
Which has, no, because it's too bizarre for that, so...
He showed me a clip. It is pretty freaking weird.
10 seconds to BIM hour.
The National Fitness Program is watching you.
5,
4,
3,
2, BIM.
That is more preachy, and so people usually stay away from those. Whereas if you are able to fold it, once again, oh, God had this wonderful message that there is God, period. It's never really, oh, this is, you have to believe or things like that. And then you have movies that are poking fun of that, of religion, like In God We Trust.
Are you God?
Who do you think I am?
Does not G-O-D spell God, peckerhead?
Or Dogma, but at the same time, in both cases, even if they are satire of the religion, the bottom line is there is God.
And I think it is worth saying on camera, to your point, that, correct me if I'm wrong, you told me you watched Dogma with Dad, who's obviously a very faithful believer, and he was like, this is actually cool. This is how you do it. This is how you make fun while still, in the end. Which I think is amazing. And again, this is a great point, because it's like, if people would just approach things with a brain, like, look, I would imagine your dad is a massive believer. And
you're already asking way too much.
It's usually how it works.
The fervor probably came from people who shared views the way your dad did, and it's like, if you just look at it, you can actually laugh along with it.
Didn't I tell her she was funny?
And mostly, the vast majority of criticism of Dogma came before the movie came out. So you say, just watch it. Then, if you don't like it, or if you disagree, or some, but Kevin Smith, the only thing that people knew was Kevin Smith is making a movie about God. That's it.
So it's kind of like, don't even touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't even go there.
And instead, you say, okay, wait to see what is it, what comes out from that. And then, if you disagree or if you are offended...
Once again, asking way too much of people.
Very true.
How could you possibly know that?
But if you have movies like Adriano Celentano's Joan, which is an Italian disaster that he made, where he is Jesus, that is...
Quel giorno quando l'uomo fu inventato era un uomo perfetto. Era uno bellissimo, stupendo come chi lo creò.
Preaching pretty hard, and it's terrible, and people don't like that. You say, you can give me all the messages you want if you fold them naturally into a story. There is nothing wrong in watching, if a movie is well done, even if it has if it's faith-based. I mean, everybody's watching It's a Wonderful Life, and I never heard anybody say, oh my God, it's a religious movie because there are angels.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
No, It's a great movie. It's a great story.
It's a great point. In fact, it never even occurred to me. I've watched it and loved it. It never occurred to me, even with.
Aha!
It allows you to just watch a movie without being.
Yes,
feeling
exactly.
like you're being
And
taught
at the
lesson,
same time, you're not labeled, say, oh my God, or you're Christian because you're watching that movie, or you're not. No, it's just it's a great story, and
know
you
what?
like it because it comes naturally into.
To his point, I never even crossed my mind. Not even a little tiny. It's Chris's movie. It's fun. It says angels are there. They're obviously coming from. Well, the beginning has God talking to him with the stars lit up. That's actually a great point. I never attached that to it. I just enjoyed the movie.
So this movie is innocuous, and if you are really religious or teetering, or if you wanted to, how can I say, show your kids maybe or somebody that is there is something other than going to church and having to pray, but this is also
Even though you get locked in a trunk.
Even between the argument between the twins, that's the kind of main.
Yeah, exactly. And so
there.
I mean, you never really supported me, believed in me. You never let me live my faith out in my own way, your own way.
So I like of this movie. I like the fact that it's not what was I saying, preachy and over, just like it doesn't hammer you on the head. So I like it. Well,
I guess a truly evolved being doesn't talk shit about anyone. But then how are we going to make art?
What?
Let's express our feelings by throwing pieces of paper. And I like this conversation so much that I feel like it took me away from the guy that would want to be like, ugh, this is awful, and now I have no idea how to vote for it. We're going to start with the Christian. Mateo?
I go with 2.5. It's for what it is. It does its job. It doesn't.
Not sure how to vote on this one.
Sorry?
Not sure how to vote on this one.
So I'm saying the conversation didn't take the stereotypical avenue of just bashing it. We made fun of some stuff.
That's your fault.
Because
it is my fault. I started off on a weird
I was trying to get there.
No, because even if it's.
Hold on, let's make fun of it more real quick.
If it's not granted, the actors are doing their best with what they have.
I don't see what that has to do with any of this, man.
And it's fine. It has a sweet message, and it's once again, it's not offensive, and it's not made by a religious zealot who wants to actually.
Yeah.
Oh, did we say it was written by Ed? Ed's the writer.
Who the hell's Ed?
Big Head Ed.
Oh,
he's the writer.
Yeah. So 2.5.
Matthew. It's difficult.
I won't give it a full 5 because it wasn't offensive. It wasn't down your throat. It wasn't good either. But it wasn't long.
Yeah, it was very nicely short. What was it, like 80 minutes?
But there also
Despite being a movie where everybody talks in every single scene, is not heavy.
Yes.
On
it doesn't feel like you're there forever.
Yeah.
But nothing happens. But there's also not that much to make fun of. So I'm going to go with a 4.
Okay. Sure.
Like I said, I didn't hate it. It didn't offend me, but it did not interest me enough or allow me to make nearly as many jokes as I'd hoped.
You know what? I agree. I actually am offended that we took a gorgeous philosophical viewpoint and didn't just rip into this thing. You know? Let's do it again and just trash it instead. That's what the people want.
It didn't inspire hate in any of us, I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a miracle.
I think, yeah, it's a little absurd at times. It isn't necessarily the absurdity I wanted from being pitched the Christian song in my dumbass mind and picturing someone sawing off a leg and being like, it's God. But
that could have been a good movie. Or
well, I think that's what.
If someone takes their belief to that extreme level and you do it in a good.
Well, then he
way.
would have had to crucify them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thrown off here. We did make fun of some stuff, and you really made me laugh about the dad's pants, and you know, we made some jokes about people molesting each other like we normally do. But Jason's in a bit of a kerfluffle, and because I wasn't disgusted by it, I was a little perplexed by it being made. But I'm going to go with a kind of middle of the road, but a little more tipped towards bad 3. It is a miracle. I feel like this is weird, and we should have made fun of this more. And I blame Mateo because I wanted to respect him, and we need to get a room full of atheists together, just rip on this for internet content.
MaJaMa. I gave the Reconciler his name.
MaJaMa.
guys, this is kind of an interesting episode. Hopefully you're not bored, but I'm really only speaking to Paulo. So, Paulo, do you believe... yeah. The Redeemer is on... Where do we watch this? It's on Netflix?
No,
The Reconciler.
Oh, the
The Redeemer.
The Reconciler, or whatever the hell they misspelled.
Breckenridge.
The Rich
is on Tubi.
Or not Tubi.
Or not to be. And, yeah. God.
What do you think?
What do you guys think? That's a Jams, everyone. And we'll be back with something that's more cock-based and dumb jokes next week. I hope.
Maybe.
MaJaMa.
Everybody falls sometimes. You gotta find the strength to rise from the ashes and make a new beginning. Anyone can feel the ache. You think it's more than you can see.